Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vanguard Theater Company's Beautiful Women Tribute, where we have three stunning women with us this evening from the cast of Beautiful, who we're going to chat with, and I can't wait to get started. And our mission can be summed up in one word, and that word is dream. And it stands for diversity, reciprocity, education, activism, and mentorship. And the three ladies who are with us tonight have all been mentors in our Broadway Buddy program. And so we're so thrilled to have them. I'm going to talk a little bit about them now, and then I'm going to bring them on one by one. But just so you know who's going to be joining us tonight, we're going to have Elena Ricardo, who played Carole King's best friend in Beautiful, and she also covered the role of Carole King, was on several times in that, well, many times in that role. She also previously starred in Mamma Mia as Sophie. We also have Gabrielle Elizabeth, who played Little Eva, and Sherelle in Beautiful on Broadway, and also has appeared on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And then we have Celicia Thomas, who was, by the way, a prior Miss California World. She played all of the Shirelles and also Lucille in Beautiful on Broadway. And she was in rehearsal for Once Upon a One More Time when the pandemic hit. And for those of you who don't know, that's the Britney Spears musical that we were all kind of dying to see. So I can't wait to first bring on Celicia. Hey! I love how this pandemic hit and you said, you know what? I'm going to change my game. Okay, so I want you to tell everyone about your game-changing move, like what you're doing these days, because it's so exciting to me.
I started working on a podcast. It's called Black Hair in the Big Leagues. And basically, I'm talking to like mostly badass women on Broadway and men and other industries as well about their hair, which you would think like, okay, it's just a podcast about hair, but it has turned into so much more. It's like I'm talking to people of color, and you know, Janice, like us talking about our hair, it's a much deeper conversation than that, but a palatable way to talk about deeper things. And so I just called up a few of my friends to be like, hey girl, you want to like do a Zoom? I'll be recording it for my podcast, whatever. And one thing turned into to another, and the next thing I knew, I'm like, I've got stars from Hamilton, Book of Mormon, Lion King, Dear Evan Hansen. Every major show on Broadway is represented in this podcast, plus a Miss USA, a Miss America, like, and beyond. And I'm like, I call it Black Hair in the Big Leagues just in case Michelle Obama want to stop by. You know what I'm saying? But it's been so much fun. It got picked up by the Broadway Podcast Network. It's been keeping me busy, and what really is gratifying is like the sense of connection of like, it feels like I'm in a dressing room again. And during this pandemic, it has just felt like sometimes it feels like, oh my goodness, I'm in this thing all by myself. How untrue is that? Yeah. We're all in this together.
Yes. But yes, I think we have all felt those feelings for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. I loved being, I was a guest on.
Yes, I loved having you on there. Yes.
It was so fun. And she's a fantastic host. And I just remember saying after, wow, she's really good at hosting. So I hope that your hosting career does not end here. I mean, I think this is fantastic, but I think that you can do it all. Like you can be on it. You can have your own show. You can have your own talk show.
Did you hear that, gold? Did you hear that, gold?
Such a beautiful soul, inside, out. And you also have a beautiful instrument. So if you wouldn't mind gracing us with your beautiful voice, what are you singing for us tonight?
I'm going to sing a song that I sang on tour and on Broadway in Beautiful, the Carole King musical more than 1,500 times, which I still question. Do I know the words? Do I know the words? It's called Will You Love Me Tomorrow, written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin, sung by the Shirelles. Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight, the light of love is in your eyes. But will you love me tomorrow? Tonight, with words unspoken, you say that I'm the only one. But will my heart be broken when the night meets the morning sun? I'd like to know that your love is love I can be sure of. So tell me now, and I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow? Will you still love me tomorrow?
Oh my goodness.
Bravissima.
I love you.
Stunning.
Thank you.
I'm so obsessed with your voice. Tell us a little bit about your training, Celicia. How did you get started?
Okay, well, I wanted to be, I was gonna go into law in high school, but I did a pageant senior year of high school.
Yes, we talked
I needed
about the
a
pageant
talent.
world. Yes.
I needed a talent for my pageant, and so back then, like the secret rule was if you come in with a monologue, that's them thinking that you can't do anything, so you just memorized a paragraph. So they're like, just sing. Can you sing? So I got voice lessons. I was like, oh my gosh, I like this. I ended up majoring in musical theater in college and barely graduated, but we did it, folks. And then I worked at Disneyland, and so I studied voice while I was in college, and a little bit in high school, and then I'm of course still studying. Yeah, and then I just moved to New York City, and beautiful like came into my life.
Yeah, you booked beautiful pretty early on, right? Pretty early.
Within the first 2 weeks of me moving to New York, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. You might not want to say that out loud.
But that to me, I'm like, that's a God thing. I'm like, I think I'm cute, but I'm not that cute. I think I'm talented, but I'm like not that good. I'm like, oh God, I see you. I see you, Lord.
Yes,
That's what
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. How was it playing? So a lot of people don't realize that the Shirelles are from New Jersey,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Right. Like you've got these four girls. I played Charlie of the Shirelles.
Yes, yes, Shirley. Uh-huh.
And you've got these like four regular girls, like they're young girls, and they're like in school, and they're just kind of like teenagers who love each other and they like singing together. But playing real people, like they're real people, so you don't want to like character, like make it a caricature, just in case if anybody showed up in the audience, like. But it was really fun, and I mean, I miss it every day, Janice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm impressed with the fact that first of all, they're from Passaic, New Jersey, and they sang in a talent show together, right? If I recall correctly, they were in a talent show in high school. And then a mother of someone owned a record company and was like, you guys need to sing. And they were like, no, we like being in high school. We don't want to be professional. And she kept saying, you need to sing. And finally, professionally. And finally they said,
Right.
okay.
And like the beauty of their group is like they kind of translated to all sorts of different people, which at the time like mattered, but I mean, like so many things. But that was one of the things about the Shirelles, like they appealed to a wide range at the time.
Yeah, they were I know that they were kind of toward more of the beginning of like the big girl group era. Yes. And then I think they were the first girl group to have like a #1 hit, and they were amazing.
I know. I honestly wish I got to meet any of them in real life. I was like, this is gonna some point, right? I never have gotten to meet them.
Yeah. Well,
One
never
day,
say
I'm sure, like,
what.
I mean, hopefully.
Yes.
It's interesting because when those artists would originally write their songs, they hear it one way, and so these artists come in and are like, that is not our groove, that is not what we do, that is not going to represent our brand. And she came to them because she knew that with a song that good, she needs the best group to sing it and to highlight it. And the Shirelles were that group, and they heard it and were just like, listen, this is really not how we're going to sound. And Carol, being the complete genius that she is, was like, well, what can we do? What can we do to make it? Why don't we add some strings? We'll make it sound more flowy and sensual and bluesy and like and cello. Yeah, we're gonna add strings.
Was that your line, Celicia?
That was my line.
Cellos.
Cellos.
Literally, like, we come out, we're like, this song is not for the Shirelles. We are black. Wait, I don't remember what it was. Like,
Because
whenever I went on for them, if I ever blanked, they're looking dead at me like, and I'm
Trying
like,
to make
someone
it
say
loud.
cello. Just someone say cello. Yeah, and it was also it was slower too. And I think giving it that little a little bit faster, just a little bit of a bop to it, it not only fit what was popular at that time, but it fit the Shirelles. And so I mean, they took that song off. And I love that Carol always acknowledges that it's the Black artists that have made her career, like that her music was influenced by Black artists. It was performed by incredible Black artists, and I think that's an important acknowledgement to make. She was making that acknowledgement in the 60s and 70s, and especially now to bring that back during this period of time. It's like, hey, remember, guys, they're not just the ones that are, the show ponies showing off these songs. They also influence the sound and the music. So, and I'm sure you guys, we talk about it all the time in the show, how like you guys would work your butt off, and then the Righteous Brothers would come out there,
Don't get me started.
sing a song, and
Every
everyone
day
was
I'd
like,
complain.
here's my money, and you're like,
And they'd be like, I'm so tired.
like,
they just did like the Drifters did 3 production numbers back to back, and y'all just locomotioned for your life, and the Righteous Brothers come out there and are just like, hey.
And they get a bigger applause.
They did, and it's annoying. Even for me, I'm not in any of them. And I'm like,
so annoying. But you know what I did like about that was we could sit off stage, like when somebody new went on for the Righteous Brothers, and we could like watch them and like, oh, it was so
That's
fun.
true.
it was special.
That's true.
Special.
Well, I love that you just brought up would all just have done the locomotion, because that's a perfect segue to Yay, Gabrielle. And for those who don't know, Gabrielle played Little Eva. And so tell us a little bit about Little Eva.
She's from North Carolina, and she ended up making her way to New York City because she wanted to sing. And she used to substitute sing for, I can't remember the group's name, but anytime this particular group couldn't perform, anyone from that group, she would leave school and go sub for that group, and ultimately started making a name for herself. And around 16 years old, because the work was so sporadic, she ended up babysitting for Jerry Goffin and Carole King, and she got that job because the character's name is Janelle in the show, but I believe her real name was Ruby, the one who ends up having the affair with Jerry. She was friends with her, and so she recommended Little Eva to be their babysitter. And they loved the way that Little Eva danced. She had like a specific way of dancing, and then they figured out she could sing, and they were like, oh my gosh, we have the perfect song for you. And they collaborated with her and created The Locomotion, which ended up being a hit, ended up being #1, which was her biggest song ever. She recorded with a couple of other people, but nothing was ever as big as The Locomotion. And yeah, that's a little bit of her story. And I like to say that her lucky number was 16, because she was 16 when she booked the role. So 16 when she got it, and the 16 children in her family. Yeah.
Oh
Siblings.
my God. And when we were talking before, you mentioned that you met Carol King.
I
And
did.
yeah,
Yes.
tell us
So she
about
came
that.
to the show and everyone's crowding her, of course, because it's Carol King. And she comes to me. Well, I wiggled my way close to her, of course. And then she comes to my face and grabs my cheeks and tells me that I look just like little Eva and that I did it perfectly. She said I was just missing the little gap between my teeth. And then I
Oh,
said in my head, okay, pitch me for the movie.
yes, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
it was a really special moment. And I have a picture of it too. So that's
Oh,
nice.
and you're no stranger to being on screen, right? You did The
No.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes, yes. And that was a blast. That was so much fun. And I hope to do more film and TV as in the coming years or coming months. Jesus, listen. so, so yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
going to
love
put
it.
in a plea to Adonai as well.
Yes, please. All of it.
And so what are you doing these days? What are you
Well,
doing?
these days, I've been spending a lot of time at the beach. I try
Uh-huh.
to find like a small little secluded area and just float in the water and just kind of relax and really getting closer to nature. And I'm also working for this company called Mergen, which is a company that helps simulate different characters. It's a way that I kind of use my acting. So I simulate these different characters and I help people with hard and difficult conversations. So there's diversity training, there's classroom work, so that these teachers, for example, don't have to test out their teaching skills on children and potentially scar them. They can test it on me and I help them navigate that. The company's only about 5 years old. And I also started a blog called Illuminating Radiance, which is all about just the different things that I experience through life, whether it's good, whether it's bad, and always trying to find the silver lining and shining that light on every single moment, because there's always something good and something positive to look into, even if it's the most terrible moment in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no pun intended. That's truly beautiful. That is,
Well, thank you. Thank you.
yeah. And I think from following you on Instagram, you were doing a lot of yoga.
Yes,
Right?
yes. I did a yoga challenge for the first 30 days of January, just trying to really get into my body and really focusing on mindfulness and yeah, just trying to use this time for growth instead of focusing on what's not happening. Trying
Right.
to, function from where I am and from what I can do.
Yeah. Um, so what are you gonna sing?
Well, I'm actually singing my favorite song from the show, not the song I did, but I'm singing Beautiful, ironically, from Beautiful.
That is great. Well, Melanie, if you can spotlight Gabrielle and take me off, and there you go.
All right, here we go. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. People gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes, you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station with the workday window blowing, I got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in their faces, I see frustration growing, and they don't see it showing. Why do I? You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the reason for the sadness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. If there's any answer, maybe love can end the madness. Maybe not all, but we can all try. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. And people treat You're gonna find, yes, you will, that you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. Yes, you're beautiful as you feel. Oh. You're beautiful as you feel.
Oh, that was so beautiful. And
Yeah, girl.
your inner beauty just poured out in addition to your
Oh,
vocal.
thank you so much, Jessica.
Beautiful.
We got your backups, girl. We got your backups.
Yeah.
Gabrielle, that was so stunning. And when I was growing up, my father was in Vietnam. And so the Carole King Tapestry album was super important to everyone of that era and everyone who was in that war or people who were home waiting for people to come back home. And my father, when I was growing up, used to play that song every single day to wake me up in the morning.
I hope that you got to relive that feeling again as I sang.
I
Thank you
did.
for sharing that.
I did. Thank you. Elena.
Oh.
So first of all, I just want to say that one of the things that Elena has been doing during the downtime is teaching for Vanguard, which we appreciate so much. She taught an on-camera acting class for us, which was so fun. And I got to be her admin, and so I learned a ton from that. So thank you for all that knowledge. But talk to us more about what you've been doing, because I am all obsessed also with Bounce by Elena. So tell us more about that.
Well, I've been doing a little bit of some film and TV stuff. I'm starting to kind of like transition into that world, which is exciting. But the thing that like gets me up in the morning is Bounce. You're wondering, for those of you who are like, what's Bounce? Bounce is trampoline cardio. It is my favorite form of working out. It is safe and efficient for everybody. And I have really jumped in headfirst with it. I spend the majority of my day choreographing routines, getting playlists together, uploading them onto this subscription platform that I have, reaching out to the clients that I have and finding out what they want more of and what, and you know, it's not paying the rent yet, but it's there and it keeps me in shape and it keeps me motivated. So if you head to bouncebyelena.com, you can learn a lot more about me and what I do. It was just on Inside Edition. Jessica was actually a part of that. She woke up nice and early to be featured, so I could look like I'm teaching a class. It was really just like a 5-minute bounce party that we all had.
Oh, fun!
Oh, it was great. It was great. So, you know, for all of you guys who are in this area, I have a trampoline rental program. So if you ever want to just try out the trampoline but not quite buy it yet, I got you. $15 a week. I'm such a salesperson. This is insane. Who am I?
No, this is good. This is great.
Who
You have
am
to.
I actually started it because, first of all, I love to do freak things. And my routines, my advanced ones are freakish. But my more, after 10 years of competitive gymnastics, I like an intense workout that doesn't make me feel as aged as my body is after 10 years of gymnastics. And the trampoline, just, I feel like I can push harder and not be as sore in the morning. I'm protecting my joints because it's low impact. So after all that competing and all those years of really like cardio and strength wise pushing my body, this is the closest thing I've found that gives me the total body, total mind. It's helping me learn routines better. I've been better at dance classes because of teaching and activating that part of my brain that learns a routine and has to do things over and over again. So even as a performer, if you want to try and just like get your stamina up. I mean, I'm so tempted to do like a musical theater class where we like sing the whole time, but my neighbors would kill me. And we're
Tell us a little bit, Elena, of how you got into this world of theater. You were just talking about being a competitive gymnast, but I know that your parents have a background in theater and all that. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I resisted this world as much as I could, but I had my two parents who performed on Broadway. I had my sister who's immensely talented, and they were all, doing it. And I gave in. When I quit gymnastics, I was like, I'm pretty good at this. Let's try this. And then I started to really go full out. I started to go to 6-week camps and study everything I could and learned Shakespeare monologues, which I have not used since, but still do it, kids. But I just plunged into it, and I thankfully was surrounded by people who I trusted them. And if I were really bad, I feel like they would have been like, don't do it. But they were fully supportive of me. Yeah. And it so helps to have a family that supports you, whether you're good or not, to just have a family that encourages you. So I feel very lucky to have come from them and to be able to still talk about auditions with them and have them understand what that means, and to work with my sister on material. And it's a very collaborative family, and I love that.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love your family. I love your sister as well, who's taught for us and works a little bit with my son. So thanks for introducing her to us as well. The whole performance family. I'm sure that has just, to just be able to talk with people who understand. I know that's been beneficial. Okay, we want to hear you sing. I can't wait. What are you singing for us?
Okay, so one of my favorite songs to sing in the show was You've Got a Friend. Got the name for a second. Because it just came at the point in the show where you can almost relax, like you're almost at the end, and it's not a crazy show-off song. I could just look at my friends on stage and just sing to them. So. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. Oh no, don't you let them. You just call out my name, and wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Ooh, darling, winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend.
So beautiful. And so many people had comments saying they're all to one of their all-time favorite songs. Thank you for blessing us with that. That was so beautiful.
You can't go wrong with any of Carol's stuff. Like, don't you guys, I'm sure Gabby and Sleisha, there is no time I've ever sung these songs, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that anyone has ever not been like, oh, like they're just, her music is the songbook of a generation.
Yeah.
From 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean,
And she was writing at a time where women weren't really in the game.
No, yeah, they weren't. And she was writing about topics that maybe hadn't been written about. I mean, Will You Still Love Me is the first song about premarital sex, which at that time was like, what? But she wrote the most beautiful song about it and that feeling. And
I
that,
hear it everywhere.
yes.
I'll be in a store and I'm like, oh.
And people like don't even realize, but they like know the words. And you're like,
Totally. Now, I'm curious, when you were playing Carole King, did they want you to sound like her?
thank God, no, because I'm not a good mimicker. And at that time, there's a lot of jukebox musicals, and the women playing these characters are not mimic. They're encapsulating the voices. I mean, my friend Adrian is Tina Turner. My friends who played Cher sounded like Cher. But I think whenever I talked to the musical director of Beautiful, they were like, first of all, Carole King wasn't really a singer, you know.
Right. It's true.
And also, people hear her in their head that they're not really listening to you being like, oh, she doesn't sound, they're singing it themselves. They're hearing Carol in their head. And the music is so good, you don't care who's singing it or how you hope they sound good. But thankfully I didn't have to like put like things on my voice or because her voice is, no one's like her. No one can sing like her. And thank God that pressure was taken off. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, ladies, you all shared a dressing room.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
That's the dressing room tea.
We compare boobs.
Where do we start?
Yeah. We all sat next to it. It was like literally the three
It
of
was
us.
Alicia, Elena, then me.
Truly. Oh my gosh, you guys! Like,
It's been a second, but I just remember Celicia and Gabby were kind of the people I checked in with the most. Not that we didn't check in with anybody else, but like they're the ones that are just right next to you, and they were the ones that like were like, "Oh my God, you're on! How exciting! Like that's so fun! Like they were so supportive." It's an incredible room to be a part of, and just like sisters, like we had days where we could read like that. We were like, let's put our makeup on and do our stuff today because
There were some quiet days, some quiet days.
oh my gosh,
of course.
Well, I feel like I was very chill, except when somebody brought Ty into the room.
That was me. And no, it was fried rice. It was fried rice.
Oh, you brought Ty. You know we don't have ventilation. We don't have windows down there. Stink up the whole place.
And it smelled good too.
And if
and I'd do it again.
I pick my fights. That wasn't one of mine, but
poor Elena. Me and Alicia would be reaching over her trying to fight. Sometimes
they were, the two of them, little like Beavis and Butthead, and I was in the middle of them, just like, do you girls want to sit next to each other? Because I feel like I'm interrupting something.
Oh my gosh, what else would happen? We had a few rituals in the dressing room. I think on Sundays, what do we play? Put on shoes.
What is that song? Hello, Dolly.
Put on your
Dolly.
shoes. That was a weird day.
Because that was our day.
Interesting things that would happen. A lot of nudity.
Yeah.
There was
a lot of marching and nudity.
My mom was
mostly by
like,
Solution.
why are you? You've changed. I'm like, go to work. We're literally naked every day in front of him.
And you had to be, because otherwise you would not get ready.
Yeah.
Right. I remember.
Say that again, Sleesh, you go.
Every now and then, like I wouldn't have any cash on me and I really wanted something out of the vending machine. And I would go to the boys' dressing room and be like, can I have $1? And it was like, they're big brothers. They were like pulling out the wall. Here you go.
It's wild to get to like come to work with your friends and to understand, like, to be there for them when like they're having a rough day or they go out on stage and like they're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and you're like, you got this, you can do this, you're gonna be okay. It's and to also be there for them for their stuff outside of the theater. Like oftentimes it's hard to leave that stuff at the door, when we're seeing each other 8 times a week. We all can sense when something's off or when
We know
something.
each other so well.
Yeah, and there's a respect too. We don't pry, we don't, it's just an amazing thing to be surrounded by women, strong women, and see how we all interact with each other. And there are good days and bad, but for the most part, like, these are lifelong friends,
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys.
girls.
I mean, like,
The
and also, like,
girls.
we toured together, and like, that's a whole other thing. But like, you really get. I feel like on Broadway and on tour and all the things, like, life is still happening, and then you got to go out on stage.
Tour is different, yeah.
Like, yeah, like the things that I have seen some of my coworkers have to go through, or information that they just got, life,
Then yeah, on stage.
and then have to go on stage is just like, oh my goodness. And there were times when I would go on stage after something just happened, and I'm like, okay, I have, like, there are tears coming down my face, and I know, like, I just can't crunch up my face. And if I don't crunch up my face, like, people in the audience can't see it. But Jason would be in the pit being like,
Oh, he's, yeah.
see, it's like, is that like a
And I
thing?
will
Like,
say,
He'll literally be like,
like, what's wrong? Like, why are you crying? And that's such a weird thing to do, but like, life is happening. It's like, I gotta go on stage and do backups for locomotion. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
but I'm not sure I've ever like said that out loud. But, like, that's a real thing. Like,
It's different. I've been in rooms with tons of women, with like 12 women. I've been in a room of like 4, and then I've been in my own room. And of course, there's something nice about having your own room, but it is isolating to not have just the energy or the
camaraderie.
company of other people. It really, like, on your second show, it can be hard. You're just sitting in your room and you're like, okay, here we go. But at least around you, people are buzzing. Maybe somebody did something fun between, and you can be dead silent, but you're at least like getting the energy. And definitely that misses out when you're out on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
like, if you're not in a talky talk day, you can like come to work and be so entertained and mind your business.
Yeah, you have one earphone in and one earphone out to make sure you know what's going on.
Question. Okay, so everyone, of course, wants to know, what is the future of Broadway? What do you think is going to happen with Broadway? I'm curious what your thoughts are. I know there's some talk that things are going to go back in the fall to a certain extent. How do you guys think the trajectory is going to be? I know none of us know, but we're curious your thoughts.
Well, like you said, I don't know.
I was wondering if you guys heard anything with Once Upon a One More Time. No, they're like, we don't know.
We've not been given any information.
Mm.
My psychic abilities, this is what I've got. So the last time I was in Times Square, I was doing, like, I was being filmed doing this thing, and I was supposed to like look sad, but when I was there, something in me felt like, oh, this is temporary. I felt like it's going to come back. It felt like I felt hope, not having any reason to have hope. I just felt it. And it actually got me really excited. And the camera girl was like, can we do that again? Just like,
Look
away.
sad.
Sure.
That's funny.
Like, I have hope. I feel like good things are coming. Don't know when. Dear God, we got some bills to pay, Lord. Thank you.
We do.
Please. But like, I do think it's coming back. Hopefully this fall. Who knows? If things go well, maybe.
I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error. I think a lot of the more heavy hitter shows can function at 25% capacity. So they'll try all the things. They'll be the test dummies for moving audience back 10 feet, for maybe changing out ventilation, for maybe having to do rapid tests every day for months at a time. They can try it out and they can afford to do that. While other shows, I think, are going to be a lot more careful. Producers are always going to put money first. Newsflash, it's probably not like news, but it's not about returning to Broadway for the art. It's about making sure that their investment is going to be okay. And that makes sense.
Like, I wish that we could have come back a long time ago. Like, I was like, London is open. Hello.
They had
But,
to
like,
close again, though. They opened way too fast and had to close
also
again.
close like 3 times. So we can't do that. Like, when Broadway opens, like, we need to do it when we can.
Yeah, they don't want to have to start over. So
Right.
who knows? But I certainly hope they start to record things now. Like, frickin'
Mhm.
record
That's
our
my hope. I think that
shows.
could have started a long time.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
There's like the archives, but I don't even know how those are shot. They should be shot like Hamilton. We should all have our shows shot like Hamilton.
Yes.
Because that's how you shoot a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we all miss.
Yeah.
And it's been a nice moment to
Right.
relive these memories and this feeling. I miss these two ladies so much. I was crying during your song,
I
Elena.
saw a
I don't
tear.
know.
I saw a tear.
I was singing to everybody.
Aw.
With you, I did the and dessert you.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
The things we do backstage with time, like we found lyrics that we would always do a certain way, and the principals were always just like, shh, and we're like, ah.
No, well, they had their moments too.
They had their
Sipped
moments
tea.
too.
Oh, well, thank you so much, ladies. Of course, we could talk to you all night, but I believe that the time has come that we are going to bid you farewell. But we want to thank you again for joining us. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure we will do this again. Maybe we make this an annual event, the beautiful women.
I will sing this music forever with these ladies.
Oh, and maybe next year you'll be able to be together and sing it together.
Love that. That would be so much fun. I hope.
Ooh, yeah.
Fingers crossed. Prayers up.
That would be awesome.
Yes, it would be. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks
Just
for having
thank you. Couple quick housekeeping things before everyone says goodbye. Please be on the lookout. Vanguard has a couple productions coming up. We'd love for you to attend virtually. We have a professional group that is putting on Songs for a New World, and that will be at the end of April. And we would love for you guys to attend virtually. We'll send you all that info very soon. And if you have children at home who are interested in camps, we have a sleepaway camp that is happening in August. Well, in July and August, the end of July into August. And we have a day camp for ages 7 through 12 that is happening in our space in Montclair as well as outdoors. So please go to our website, find out more info. We'd love to get more people involved in the Vanguard family. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Jess, to close us out.
I just want to say that we could not have done this event and offered it for free without support from the New Jersey State Council on the Arts and the New Jersey Arts and Culture Recovery Fund and many individual donors. For those of you who did make a donation towards tonight's event, we are so grateful to you. If you didn't have a chance to and you want to help us create more events like this, please go to vanguardtheatercompany.org. $1, $5, $10, $100. We won't say no to anything. And that's it. And please, Janice mentioned a couple of different events, but Songs for a New World premieres. It's part of the New Jersey Stages Festival. It's the end of April. What Janice has done with this piece is so beautiful, and it meets the moment. Like, it's Songs for a New World, but it encapsulates everything that has gone on with all of us this past year, with the wish that a new world is just around the corner, and together we can step into that new world together. So thank you. We are a 501c3. Donations are tax deductible. We are grateful for everything. And we are so grateful to Elena, Celicia, and Gabrielle. We love you guys so much.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Love you
Thank
guys.
Love
Love you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.